Hello, my name is Nneoma Onyekwele. I'm an actor. Welcome to episode 6 of Moments Stories by Buchi.
Welcome to Moments. Hey, I'm a super and amazing person, a superstar, Godwin. So basically, she is an actor and vibe. Yeah.
She's an actor and vibe.
So how far? How you doing?
I do. I'm alright.
You're good. You're good.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm chilling.
Okay. So how did this acting endeavor start? How did you go into the space of acting? Because I've seen a lot of her works back to back, and she releases stuff back to back, and she's really growing actually.
Yes, yes. I love that word, growing.
Yeah. So how did everything start?
Okay, so I always loved storytelling, one way or the other. I've always found myself in scenarios that involved acting. Maybe when I was a child.
Yeah.
I remember I had to do a simulation where I had to pretend like I was getting married. My siblings put the whole laundry bag all over me, just to signify wedding dress and all of that. And my brothers, we used to play was scatter. I don't know what generation or what. I don't know what your viewers or your audience. I don't know what generation they are from, but there's something we used to play was scatter, like actor and bros.
Okay, I know.
Do you know that word? So, but it was like, wow, scatter. It's like, so that's always used to do when my daddy plays growing up and all of that. Yeah. So I always loved film. I always loved playing pretending. Yeah. So in secondary school, I was in drama club. In university, I was in the drama club of my church, but also I was in Elsa Playhouse, which was a theater club for my department there because I English and literature. University of Benin. Yeah. So we used to put on plays every semester.
Okay.
It was amazing. So.
But you didn't grow up in Benin?
No, I didn't grow up in Benin. I grew up in Abuja.
So
I'm an Abuja girl. I like to say Lagos good now because I've been in Lagos for quite some time.
But Abuja people are always tush. I feel,
okay. If you say so. But anyway, I like to call myself a Lagos girl now.
Yeah.
Shout out to my friend in Abuja. She sees this. She's going to squeeze her face. She's going to roll her eyes. But yeah, I did grow up in Abuja. Nursery school, primary school, secondary school, except university.
Okay.
Yeah, which was in Edo State. And even after university, I came back to Abuja.
Okay.
My plan was to move to Lagos through my NYSC, but that didn't work. I was posted to Kaduna, so I stayed there. When I came back, I had to go into 9 to 5 because, well, life. Yeah, I had to do some work, and then I was working at Cars 45. I used to sell cars. It started as me selling cars, then later became me. I started as selling cars, and then towards the end, it became me buying cars, but I wasn't fulfilled. I used to cry some days at work. It was
so
crazy. It was shitty. But there's some people who thrived under it. You see, that's the thing about
life,
purpose and life. You get, it's like that kind of hard wasn't my kind of hard.
Yeah.
So it made me cry.
Because I've stayed in an office before and it was terrible. God. Like that's the worst punishment someone can give me. Go to work by 8 o'clock.
And then you're trapped, you're just there.
Yeah.
And the moment you're like, I'm just there, I'm dealing with this, I'm dealing with that, I'm dealing with people calling me about their cars, I'm dealing with targets because it was a sales driven role where I'm dealing with targets and those kind of things. If you don't hit your targets, you're fired. And I needed the money.
Or was the pay like 20?
No! Okay, listen, when I was selling cars, the pay wasn't it. So it doesn't even help you. I was the lowest paid in my team. And I think it started with the title of the job. So the title was Assistant Dealer Manager. Now the other people I came in with, they were called Dealer Manager. So automatically.
So why did you get assistant?
Maybe, I was fresh out of school. That was my first job. And these other guys, they've worked in other places before. So I didn't have the experience, or I didn't have as much experience as they would require to give me like a dealer manager. But I found that at the end of the day that it was the same thing. I was doing the same job that they were doing.
When was there's a particular breaking point that no, I'm not doing this shit again.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to say that it wasn't all bad moments. There were good moments. I met some really cool people. But you know that thing about being in a space where you're not supposed to be. I tried to thrive as much as I could, and I think I did well. But at the end of the day, I left of my own volition. Now, what was the trigger?
Yeah, what was the trigger?
Okay, so after I was working at the lot, remember I said I got moved to a different office, same department, but they upgraded our facility. So I had like an office that I shared with my colleagues. Then they moved us again to a different place. Now this was away from the lot, so things seemed better. So we just go to work. It was strictly office, so everything I had to do was over the phone. I didn't have to be the one selling cars myself anymore. So that was okay, but still wasn't home. Anyway, so it seemed cool. My pay sort of remained the same. So this happened from 2017 till like 2019. So my pay remains the same. I would always ask, I need requesting for a raise because I'm doing the same work. Do you get? Now I've been moved to a different position entirely. No more dealer manager. So it was now admin. I was now an admin. So I was requesting for the pay because even the people on that same department, they were earning way higher than I was. So, but they were not hearing me.
Price. The price range. How bad?
Okay, I'll just give you a price range. So the range was from, let's say, from 50 to 100, but the lower percentile.
Okay, that's around what year?
This was 2017 to 2019.
Okay.
But I'd like to say that by the time I got moved up to a different department, which was this admin part, I had more commission. So that really helped a lot. So at some point, I really didn't care as long as I was getting that money as commission. I didn't care about the salary anymore. And it also required more work. So sometimes I'll be at work till 8 p.m. Or even 8:30, depending. Then suddenly they moved me. Now this is the trigger. They now moved me from that because they're like, they don't want anybody in Abuja to be in that department anymore because I was the only one in Abuja in that department. So they wanted everybody in that department to be in Lagos, to be easy for them to handle as a team. I was moved to where they purchase cars. Now these are center managers. Ha! Oh my God. So it was like I had to start afresh again. This time I wasn't a center manager, I was an assistant. You get? So in fact, when they sent me that news, emotions rising. Thank God I'm more emotionally intelligent now. I sent an email quickly like, I'm done. I'm not going to be working there. I sent like a quitting email. What do they call that?
How do they call it?
The email that says I quit. Yes, a resignation letter. So I sent that, but then my boss then called me. He was like, no, don't think about it like that. You're still going to get your commission. I was like, but it's not just about the commissions. My pay also. They're like, no, we're going to review it. Blah 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 blah. So it was like starting afresh again, and that didn't make sense to me. So I moved to this center, and it was even worse than what I was going through. It was just me and one of my colleagues just sitting in the office waiting for individuals to walk in to buy cards. And my colleague, she was thriving in it. But remember what I said about your place? You get? When I got my first salary that month, my commission was 2K. I said, I was like, so even the money isn't good. And I'm not feeling the job anymore. So it was a whole lot. So that was a trigger, and then I just put in my resignation letter and I said, yo, I'm done. No matter nobody tried to reason with me because I guess they just felt like, and I was like, I'm done. And my friend gifted me a camera because I'm like, I'm just going to do photography. I didn't even want to go back to acting. It wasn't part of the equation. It was supposed to be photography. She gifted me a camera, and then I just said, you know what, photography in Abuja, in these studios, here I come.
You already had like a proper studio that you would go to?
No, I didn't have a studio. It's virtual now, but I had my card and everything. No, I hadn't even done the card. She just gifted me the camera, like in a way to say it's okay for you to jump. And honestly, if you have someone like that in your life,
that's amazing.
AKA the birth of o.n.y.e.b.u.c.h.i Studios. Funny enough, the way this photography came up was that I was just sitting at home one day and I'm like, I do like to take pictures of people, of things. So why don't I make this a thing because I'd already sent in my resignation at that point. So I just randomly just spoke to my friend about it, and then she was like, "Yeah," because she could see how much this job was draining me. She wasn't based in Abuja, but she could see. So she just, I didn't even know I wasn't expecting the camera as a gift. But by the time I got the camera, then she was like, "Oh, I have a friend who's at UTC. No. There's this place in Abuja where they do, if you need to print your logos on nylons, on book, anything, anything printing or branding, they do it there." So she had this friend called Nicholas, and then she hooked me up with Nicholas. I went all the way to Area One, and like, "Nicholas, please, I need to get," because I already had the design of my business card. So I gave it to Nicholas. I wish I could show you. It's somewhere in there, but
No problem.
I'll get it later. Yeah. So I showed Nicholas, just printed it for me. I printed like 50 copies, right? Or was it 100? I don't know. So that's how I started. And then Nicholas was like, "Oh, I know somebody who is doing a birthday, whose daughter is doing a birthday. Oh, I could link you up." And then he just linked me up with this woman randomly. The one's child was having a birthday party. That's how I went for the birthday party. I remember that in town there, and my pay was 10K. But I was so happy.
It was like divided by what you were earning by like 5 or 6.
Yeah, exactly. For just one day, I was so happy. And then I didn't even think it was too small. I felt like it was a beginning.
Yeah.
Because this woman doesn't know me. I look at so
Where the pictures match.
Yeah, I still have them now. Oh, I just remembered something bad that happened to me recently. My hard drive got bad, so
okay, everything's
gone.
Okay, and you did not have it saved any other place, like one place.
Remind me.
No,
Anyway, so it was awesome. I took pictures with the kids. I took a lot of pictures, and I sent everything to her. I gave her a lot, and I edited as much as I could. And then then I started learning how to use Photoshop and all of that. So after that one, then my friend Benny hooked me up with someone else she knew who was doing who wanted to do a pre-wedding photo shoot.
Okay.
So we went to shoot that at Millennium Park, Abuja. And then Benny was incredibly supportive of me. Funny enough, we worked together. At that point, when they moved me to a center, I remember I told you I sent a resignation letter. She also sent a resignation letter, but she was done. But she had been working there longer than I have. For her, it was a demotion.
Okay.
Because she was in a way higher position. Yeah. So anyway, so Benny, I now started taking pictures for Benny's business. Benny started doing clothes and shoes.
Yeah.
It was really nice until I just said, you know what, maybe I should go back to my love acting.
Okay.
I do love acting, and I have all these stories. Then one day in March, was it May?
Okay.
It was May, Jennifer, very much. I was already killing time because by January I was done with Class 45. Okay. So this whole thing with the photography was from February to maybe April.
Okay.
Then March I was done. I just said May 2019. I just applied. I applied for one job, Paystack. So you know what? Scratch that. I didn't say acting. I wanted a different job.
Okay.
It was Paystack. Paystack was hiring at that time, and Paystack was in Lagos.
Okay. How much are they paying?
They were going to be paying like 200 or 250. Then it was coming with an apartment and everything. So I was like, Jesus, this is for me, Lord, my God, this is it. I spent day and night working on my application.
Yeah.
So with faith, I took my bag even before I got a letter of employment.
Okay.
I took my bag. I told my parents, "Okay, Papa, I'm gonna see you later," and I moved to Lagos.
Were they cool?
Yeah, my mom was cool. My mom was a bit, because she's a mother, they always worry.
Okay.
And my siblings, because there was a promise of a job, right?
Yeah.
So they were cool. It's to get to a point where they weren't cool anymore. But so by the time I got to Lagos now, month one, okay, we're waiting for Paystack.
Sure. Well, who were you staying with?
I was staying with the person I told you who gifted me the camera, my friend, Princess. Omo. That was it though. One night like this, I just received that email from Paystack.
I know what that means.
We are sorry.
Get back to your soul.
No, you're not, like, we're sorry you didn't make it to
the next phase.
My heart. Hey! I cried that night. I could not sleep. I cried. Because what next? You get what next? I mean, my friend tried to get me to, Princess tried to get me to apply for other jobs. In fact, I could not move. I didn't want to. So I remember staying in this room. The room had brown wallpaper. This way I was just looking like she should go to work.
Yeah.
I just be like,
but how were you eating? How were you like taking care of
I
yourself?
was being fed now. I was in the family house.
Okay,
Mom see, okay, I was with my mom, but I was with her own family, exactly. So food was not a problem. So I was like, but my mom, I didn't have to contribute to the house because everyone knew I wasn't working at the moment. So my siblings had that handled. But of course, my mom, I would randomly just send her some money because I did save. Oh, I didn't just up and leave my job. Oh, that's my previous job. I had savings. I made sure I had savings because I'm not the type to beg. I'm not the type. So, hey, I remember watching The 100 from season 1 to season 6. That's like episode 1 to episode 24. This is back in the day.
When it was just coming out, or when it was
you know, it's even recently they started making series shorter. Then things used to be like up to
40 minutes, Abby.
In a funk, I think because I was depressed at that moment. This was 20 when I just moved to Lagos 2019. So this would be around July. July, because I didn't know what next. Okay, so I knew I wanted to work at Paystack. I knew it didn't work. But I was reluctant to apply for other jobs and I didn't know why. I think it was because maybe Paystack seemed like a more flexible environment based on what I read on the job description. So I didn't want to get stuck in the kind of job I had before. So there was this fear of applying for other jobs. So I think it was also my intuition, or maybe it was my angel saying, "Don't apply, do this one instead." But I went through a very long process of finding out who I wanted to be again. So in that time, I would go to work with Princess. I helped her with her own job because she's a businesswoman, she's a farmer. So I helped her with her own job. I focused on that. That's where I put all my energy in. And then I started writing but poems. Yeah, I started writing but poems. I wasn't doing photography besides just taking random pictures elsewhere. And it wasn't until 2020, during COVID, that I just said, you love acting that year. And then Lagos.
Was it because everybody was locked in or something?
I think so. Because you know that COVID, there was silence. You could hear yourself think. It was crazy. So I just said, you know what, why not just do acting? So I just started recording monologues randomly. And if you watch my monologues from back in the day, anyway, so and then I saw an audition come up. I just applied for the audition and I got the call back. So that would qualify as my first job in Nollywood. And that job, the shoot date was September 16th, 2020. I remember I had to go all the way to Oshodi. I remember getting to that Oshodi bus stop, but then I had to go down. I wasn't directly, but it seemed like it was a school, sort of. Anyway, it was for a series. It was supposed to be a pilot. Now that I know what I know about Nollywood, is what you shoot to try to get sponsors for your film in entirety. So I did that, and then Kemu was part of the cast. I'm like, who? So before then, my mom was like, "What are you doing in Lagos?" My siblings was like, "What are you doing? Like, you're not in a 9 to 5. You're not doing it. What's up with your life?" You get? My sister was worried. What's up with your life? Know all this thing. So it gave me a gap away from my family because I didn't have the kind of response they wanted. And they wouldn't understand what I was going through, or I felt they wouldn't understand. So there was a gap. So I would just say hello, just make sure, just like sending proof of life, and I just check my mom. But when I did that job and Kevin was there, I just said, "Mommy, look!" I took a selfie, we took pictures, and like, "Mommy, look!" That was it. But then I didn't have other jobs. Remember, I told you I was working with Princess, so I was even making money. It wasn't for free. I was even making money. We registered the company. I even became a director in the company. So other things were going on the side, but this is my passion. So after that first job in 2020, but I knew I had to do something else because I was alone in this forest. Meaning I had no friends who were in the industry. and I needed to build a network. So the best way to do that was to go to film school.
Okay.
So I went to Royal Arts Academy. And remember I was talking about film school, so I had to pay for it. So it was cool. I made friends. My first two films, no, my first film was film school.
Okay.
This particular one, I never saw it. That first job, I never saw it. All I have is pictures as proof. So my second job was from film school. I won't call that the job because it's a project.
Yeah.
Then the next one called Cage was from a friend I made in school.
Okay.
Jennifer. She casted me. Sorry, excuse me.
Sorry.
Shouldn't have drank that. That look was a boost. So my film Cage, the second film I made was from my connect in school, my network, Jennifer.
Okay.
And then the next one after that was also from that same network I built.
Okay.
This one was produced by myself and Jennifer, but I also acted in it. I wasn't the main character anyway, but I also acted in it. Then that's just to show you how important a network is in this industry. So after that, I went to Ebony Live, and that's where I met beautiful people. So now my partner in everything film now, Mide Glover. All my films, all my short films after that is being with Mide, and it just works the way that because people now, especially how we have to also learn to network horizontally, like with the people on the same level as you. As much as you're trying to network with people, it's important because most of the jobs you get is by referrals. For instance, because someone gave me your phone number. Who? Oh, it was Mide. Oh, someone gave me a number. Who? Oh, it was David. Oh, someone gave me a phone number. Can you do this? Can you do that? That's how it's been. So the journey so far
has been super
amazing. Not always amazing because there are dry spells. There are times when you even get a job.
Yeah.
2023. I only worked one paid job in 2023, and that was for a multi-choice talent factory film. That was my first feature film, but I was the younger version of the lead, and I just had like maybe 2 scenes, but that was the only job, and I got paid 30K for that job. So every other thing
throughout the whole of 2023,
acting, yes,
30K.
Yeah, that was for acting. Then every other thing was my own work.
Okay.
I think we produced 2 short films, then Media and I.
Okay.
So there was in 2023 I decided that.
But did you make money from that one?
From the short films I made? No, here's why. Because we're not shooting to make money. We're shooting to put ourselves out there and to submit the films for festivals. Hopefully it wins money or wins an award. But as time was going through 2023, I think that's on that pivotal chapter in my life. 2023, like I said, was a very slow year for me, external job wise. So it was that year I produced some of my short films. Maybe one, Collide. The other one I executive produced and I acted in it. So I had this film, and my friend, my partner Midi, had another one, and then I was like, why don't we just do a screening? Yeah, why don't we just host our own screening? So we hosted like a premiere style screening, and it was sold out. That was so beautiful. That was in November 25th, 2023. And while all this was going on, even behind the scenes, I still used to do my monologues and all of that. In fact, if I'd asked me about 2023, I'll tell you that's the most year I've done monologues. But 2024 was gearing up for me. Then I said, okay, I had a lot of slow time. I have hope for the future, but I also don't want to now have a lot of slow time again and not have anything to fill my day with. So I decided that I was going to do a monologue Monday marathon. So for every Monday in 2024, I said that I was going to post a monologue. This means that almost every week I'm performing monologues. It's tasking, but I'm proud of myself. I'm glad I did that because people I don't even know. It's like, I just came across your monologue, or I see what you're doing. Well done, or you're inspiring me. Oh my goodness, the consistency. Even the people I knew. The consistency is applaudable. Oh my god, it was so nice. It felt like I was in a marathon, literally, and you could just see people cheering me on, fellow actors, and it was so nice. And then I did that, and even I expected that. Now I've done. Okay, now Lord, what's next? People are going to be calling me for jobs, What? And funny enough, 2024 I was very busy.
Yeah.
I was very busy. That was the first time I produced or production managed my
Okay.
first feature film. I wasn't an actor in it, but
Okay.
that film showed it was an Amazon Prime film. So that's a huge milestone. So while I was doing that, I had other jobs. It was just so nice. And then, because of that, people who are also trying to come up the way that I am,
Yeah.
or even a step higher, they'll just see my work and like, oh my god, you're such a good actor. Because what I did with the monologue was try to show different ranges that I could be, different kind
Yeah.
of people that I could be. And it was sweet. There were days it was stressful. There were days I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. But I'm glad I pushed through, because as a result of that, my first job this year, which was an African Magic original, the Yard,
Yeah.
I would say that it's a testament of my work that I put in last year.
Okay.
Here's why I said that. I met the producer randomly at an event, multi-choice talent factory, their award ceremony and everything. So we're all there, and someone was like, "Oh, look at this guy! This man who was in. He's the producer for Fimo, blah 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 blah." And it didn't really register with me until I remember that I'm also a part of Fimo cohorts. I also did that in
Okay.
2024. It's an academy
Okay.
where I entered as a writer because I write too. And I just went to introduce myself, like, yeah, Mr. Charles, I do know you. I'm part of Fimo, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, that's cool. So, one thing this monologue marathon gave me was something to say. Normally, oh, I'm an actor. Okay, these people ask, okay, what have you done? And there's a possibility that they've not seen what you've done because it's short films you've been doing.
Yeah.
So, say I had a movie on African Magic Night. You say, oh, I'm on African Magic, you get.
Yeah.
But what I have are my short films and short films from my school. So, there's a possibility they've not seen it. So now, once I walk up to someone, oh, I'm an actor, I did a monologue marathon, blah, 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 that already sparks curiosity, because people are like, wow, monologue every Monday. And this was exactly what happened. When I told him, he was like, oh my god, did you apply for our audition? I was like, yeah, no problem, I'll check. Then he was like, you know what, send me all your monologues. Maybe he wanted to be sure that what I said was what it is. I was like, yeah. So I uploaded all my monologue videos into a Google Drive link and I sent it to him. And then I was like, fine. So I got an email to further to the next step of the audition. I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. This was last year. And then December I was at home. I kept checking my email, waiting for this job, waiting for this job, waiting for this job. It hasn't come. So I'm like, okay, maybe they're not done casting yet. Okay. January. I remember that day was a Sunday. I was in my house there listening to Pastor Jerry. I was online service.
Yeah.
I was cooking rice and beans in the kitchen. I just got a notification. I said, oh my god, Timo. I opened it and I saw rejection. Hi! It was beautifully crafted email. In fact, the rejection letter was now attached with beautiful letterhead. And I read it. I couldn't believe it. You know how they slap you? Like, it's like, they say it's, when a resounding slap, it's like you're inside water. It's like, I was like, is it true? So I went back, Pastor was praying. I remember I was doing my headshots. I was taking photos because I take my own photos. So I held on to my tripod and I was crying. I was like, Lord, why? I'm not joking. I'm like, God, why? So Pastor was praying, don't worry, they will call you back. It was just random.
Yeah.
I just left it. I just replied the email. I'm like, this is unfortunate, but thank you so much.
You said the pastor was saying they'll call you.
Yeah, Pastor Jerry always prophesied when he's teaching. He was like, whatever rejection you've gotten, they'll call you back. Whatever you feel is dead, it will come back to life. Yeah. Just preaching. I was just saying amen and crying. When I was done, I just went back into the kitchen. I just replied the email and I'm like, okay, this is unfortunate, but it's okay. Hopefully we get to work together again in the future. And I just said thank you and I just left it. And there was something about service going on that day and me crying there. I felt like I left it all at the altar. So as I sent that email, that was it. All there, left it at the altar, and then I just moved on. I cooked my rice, I ate my rice. I didn't even tell anybody. I just kept quiet. But like 2 weeks, it's up to 2 weeks, or like a week later, one random Wednesday, I just got a phone call, and it was Mr. Charles, and he was like, okay, we got your email. I'm like, which email? Like, the email you sent. I was like, okay, since people don't want to work with me now. I said, let me just cry. But anyway, I said, let me just reply. But anyway, I was just hoping to God the good thing will come up. But this one, you're calling me, what's up? and that was the call. I got the job
After they rejected you.
after the rejection.
Crazy.
I got the job. I never went though. When the call just cut, because I jumped on a video call, Zoom meeting with the line manager and all of those things. I still could not believe it. And then when it was done, I remember just laying down. My friend Mary was around. I just lay down on the floor. The fellow was like, "Oh my god, this is like my first major job. Africa Magic, mad." Was my it might not be a big deal to some people, but it's a very big deal to me. So when we were filming and then I saw Mr. Charles, my role was coming to an end. I just wanted to like appreciate him and say thank you for taking a look or even taking a chance and seeing that I'm worth all of this. And I was like, yeah. And then he said he also wants people to know that when you put in the work, you will reap the fruits. So with my monologue challenge, he wants me to be able to say that I performed a monologue every Monday for this year, and this is what I got as a result.
Now, you've shot an African Magic movie for the first time.
Yeah.
So, now, what do you think it's like after now? This is like the biggest heights you've gotten to, Abby?
And if there's another one, I won't be able to share as much details as possible because of NDA.
No problem.
But what I can say is that after that African Magic job, I've done the highest height, which is the next one. From the first time I got my first role as a leading lady in a feature film. 2, actually.
Nice.
So that's amazing.
Nice. So, after this particular point that you have set, where is the next place for you? Like in the next 1-2 years from now?
In this industry?
Yeah.
There's a lot on this. I believe I find it to be like a staircase.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stages. There are a lot of stages. There are a lot of steps that I want to take. Places that I want to be seen. I'd love to be in a Netflix movie. I'm not even greedy. I don't even mind if it's not the lead role. Or they say you should always reach for the stars and then you will land somewhere.
I feel you can be the lead role actually.
Right. I got what it takes now.
Yeah.
Yes, now.
I feel like you should never look down on yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Sometimes I think it's called false humility.
Yeah, nah. Lead role. Me, I want to be the richest one in Nigeria.
I'll call it a lead role in a Netflix film, in a cinema film. There's a whole lot coming, and I just beat my chest and be like, I'm manifesting a series, but I want it to be like an office-like series. Like this lady, she also has a life in office, because I want to feel a 9 to 5 ish again. I don't want the job. I want to feel it. I want to wear the dresses. I want to look slow while doing the chicken. I feel like it's going to be cool. So I'm manifesting a lead role in a Netflix, cinema, Showmax, Prime film, movie. Then a cinema movie. That would be cool. But the thing about cinemas, or what I've learned, is that for cinemas, especially in Nigeria, they like to go with known faces because they feel like those are the people that will sell tickets and all of that. So everything I'm building on myself personally by myself is trying to get to the point where my face is enough to sell your film. So I don't even have a management. I am my own management. If you go to my Instagram page now, there's a pin post.
I'm managing now from today. But it's cool. Yeah.
So on my page today, you see a headshot. I took those pictures myself because I have the equipment. I take my own pictures. I have a lot of headshots, but I've not really posted them. I have a lot of pictures. So I'm working on branding myself, especially as this film that I spoke about now, where I was the leading lady, is coming out. I also want to brand myself in a way that when people see me, they see a leading lady. Normally on my Instagram, you just see a chill, cool girl just there. I mean, I'm who I am. But I'm just also focused on, because perception sells. Perception sells. And I have really cool pictures. I just really never post them. So I'm just working on branding myself, making my brand, because my brand is me and my business. You know how you have a business? For me, I am my business. I don't have a manager yet, so I manage myself. I push myself. I do any idea of content you see, I do it myself. Like now, I'm working on a documentary to kind of like show the behind the scenes of everything I did last year regarding my monologue
Yeah.
marathon. I'm working on it still. I'm compiling the videos myself. I'm editing them myself. I'm trying to do everything by myself. That's one. I also want to make like a little journal, a book. It's a lot. If you see me, you see
Yeah.
the things going on my
I
head
feel
that I
like
want to do.
you by God's grace as you move forward, you definitely have
I'll
a
get
team.
help,
Yeah, you
of
have a
course,
team. Yeah.
of course. But for now, I can't afford to pay a team based on what I'm earning
Yeah.
alone because if I'm going to get someone to work for me, I have to make sure that I can pay them from my acting. I
Okay.
wouldn't want to take finances from anywhere else and put it
Okay.
in and pay
Yeah.
someone else. Anything finances regarding my acting stays there. Any other money I get on the side with my business
It's
stays in my business
okay.
or work. If I have to improve on, but time might come where I want to shoot a film, I might have to borrow from them and pay them. But
Okay.
anything I can
What
do.
business do you do?
Hmm?
What business?
I co-own a pig farm.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I deal in pork.
Yeah.
So that's but you'll never see that on my Instagram because my Instagram is just about pushing my acting.
Yeah.
But work wise, I work. I'm like a branding PR especially for this my business and all that. Yeah, so I think that's what it is for me.
So if I would say now I'm in 9 to 5, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If I wanted to quit and go into acting,
Mm-hmm.
what would you advise me and the other young people to just starting up
Hmm. I'll ask you first of all, do you really love
acting?
acting? Do you really love acting?
Okay.
And if your answer still remains yes, then I ask you, okay, are you okay with hearing no? Because if you hear 1,000
Okay.
no, like the no's I've gotten in this industry, it's it has made me no, at the beginning, it
Yeah.
made me go back to question my decision
Okay.
to choose this career or to
Mm.
go with this career that has chosen me. The no's I've gotten has made me cry because am I not good enough?
Mm.
So if you're okay, you have to get comfortable with hearing no's.
Okay.
The more you hear the no's, a yes will come. I've gotten some yeses, but I've also gotten a lot of no's. Are you okay with being scrutinized? You don't have to be popular before you start getting scrutinized. If you go for an audition,
Yeah.
you're being scrutinized. Normally, people say like job interviews are kind of like an audition.
Yeah.
This one also is the difference that you're standing and you have to show what you can do right there, in front of the camera, in front of everybody there. It works for some people, they are beast at audition, but for me, it wasn't the case for me. I, I don't like auditions because I get so nervous. I better send a self tape, but I'm trying. So if you want to come to leadership, first of all, do you love it? Are you okay with going for a while without jobs? Is
Okay.
that going to make you doubt yourself? Is that going to make you doubt your talent? Is that going to make you, fall off on the wayside?
Yeah.
You have to be comfortable with the quiet moments because it's not always loud. And if you still say, well, I'll say, okay, don't quit yet. Just keep working,
Just be
but
doing
on
it
the
together.
side,
Yeah.
be working on maybe performing monologues on the side.
Yeah.
Then on of the auditions that fall on the weekend, you can go for that.
Yeah.
Then if it works out and then you get called for a job, then you just tell your job you need a break or you
Okay.
need you need leave. So
Yeah.
that this is so that you have like
A fallback.
something to fall back to.
Mm.
Or you first of all then you can switch your job to a more flexible one.
Okay.
One where you don't have to go to work Monday to Friday,
Friday.
and
Yeah.
the one where you can also work remotely sometimes
Okay.
because it's important for you to have side income, especially
Something.
when you're starting out. I mean, some people just do their first job and they're blown,
Yeah.
but that's not always the case for 90% of
Yeah.
the masses. Or because if you go for an audition, hmm, let's say an audition is supposed to start by 9,
Yeah.
if you go to the audition venue, you will see over 500 people. If you go there by 6, I'm not joking,
Yeah.
no. That's how many people want to be actors and actresses in
Yeah.
Lagos. Lagos, so
And I feel like the easier way to even get it is especially all these content creators on Instagram now. Once they
true.
blow to a certain level, they
True,
easily,
they easily get because they have social currency.
yeah.
So because now producers want the social currency, they want to be able to sell their film.
Yeah, and now that a lot of stuffs are going to YouTube, so a lot of movies.
So there are even more opportunities now. There are more opportunities now because it's no longer only cinema. It's no longer only streaming platforms. Now there is YouTube. YouTube is also a streaming platform, but you understand what I mean? It's free.
But YouTube is
YouTube is booming now. So there are more opportunities, but you need to build yourself mentally. Because when you go to audition, they paired me with someone and I had to go back, and they didn't choose me. You have to be strong mentally, and you also need to be able to say no to some certain jobs. 2023, I told you I didn't get any big job except one. Coming up quick, like me. Build a network. My chances in Nollywood didn't change until I built a network. The very first audition I went for, I told you the first job was September 16, 2020, right? But the audition was in August. The very first audition I went to was in o.n.y.e.b.u.c.h.i for that job. When I walked in there were also people there who were called back for that audition. But they seemed to know each other. I didn't know anybody. I remember just standing there, just looking.
Everybody was talking to each other.
Yeah, everybody knew someone. Someone told me, "Hey, how far?" I was like, wondering,
how did they know
this
each
was
other?
before film school. That's when I decided that I needed to go to film school. I needed to surround myself with people with similar vision or similar goals. So you need a network like that. So they're all coming up quick. Go to film school. There's Royal Arts. There's Del York if you have the money. Then there's Ebony Light that you can get in simply with your talent. It's free. That is the best thing that happened to my career. Ebony Light Creative Academy. My coach, Dricus Bolchenk, God bless you, sir. The best thing. And for every actor I meet who has not gone to film school, I always say, go to Elka. Come and see Dricus. And I'm glad I told him that anyway. So,
rating you from now, from when you started to up to now, how far has the growth been? Like just on a scale of 1 to 10.
How far the good been?
The growth.
The growth is enormous. Like I said, I will maybe if you watch my previous videos,
I would watch it.
Hard drive. No, I'm not going to show you. No, maybe one day I will, because I'm trying to come up with a content series where I talk about things that happened before. I wanted to even call it a starter pack for upcoming coming up quick. Like an actor said, don't give my title out there. You carry it. Anyway, so and I also wanted to mention that just look back at my growth is amazing. I've learned a lot. Like even the me from last year is still not the same me now, because one thing I always do is to upgrade myself, upgrade my skill, and upgrade myself as a human being. So my acting is not the same; it's better. So the growth has been massive. I'm so grateful. And when you ask me next year, I'm still going to tell you the growth has been massive. Gucci, do you see what has happened since the last time?
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to Netflix, we're going to cinemas, and we're going to be leading both of them.
Yes,
very soon. So, like this will come to the end, and
I don't want it to end.
Yeah. So please, go watch her movies.
Yes, please.
Go follow her on her socials. What are your handles?
My name, Nneoma Onyekwele, everywhere.
Okay.
Everywhere.
And subscribe to Stories by o.n.y.e.b.u.c.h.i on YouTube. And
please.
Follow us.
Yes. Comment, share, every.
Like. God bless. Bye-bye.